What's up, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to Mana Rants, episode 21. We are now officially legal to drink on stream, on live, or wherever you get your podcast. So, happy birthday to us, or whatever that accounts for and means to you, if anything. We are a historic podcast. We specialize in everything historic with a little splash of Commander as well. We are the Mana Dorks, and I officially have mercury poisoning. I am the Mad Hatter. I won't go into detail why I have mercury poisoning, but if you tuned into last week's episode, you might have an insight to what that is. And as always, I'm joined by my co-hosts. He skipped out on his court-mandated AA meeting. It's Hoshi.
Yeah, don't say anything, man. Come on, be cool. Be cool.
Oh, shoot. I just put that out to the whole world.
Come on, bro.
And he desperately begs his wife to dress up as Karn. Kind of weird. It's Drunken Dork.
Oh, baby, you know how I like it. What's up, everybody?
And and we are the Mana Dorks. So the way our show works is that we actually follow the phases of Magic. So we have our Untap, our Upkeep, our Draw phase, our main phase 1, Combat, main phase 2, End Step, Cleanup, and followed by our Discard. And just like with every turn of Magic, we start every single episode with our Untap step, and that's where we untap a drink of our choice and talk about what we're drinking tonight. So let's untap it up, boys.
All right, I'm going to do something different, you guys. I'm going to just take control. Look at this bad boy. I'm surprised I've never brought this out before on here, but my wife got me this growler a while back that you can actually pour beer out of the spigot. It has these like little cartridges you put in. And
for those listening in, describe what we are seeing.
So I basically have this growler that I fill with beer at my local brewery, and it comes with little cartridges you put in to keep pressure in it. So you can use a spigot on it and pour yourself some actual tap beer. It's amazing. It's a cool little growler. Cool little device. It looks
like very steampunk. As for myself, I'm drinking Tower Station IPA. It's a local brew from Mother Road Brewing. I think it's from Flagstaff. Yeah, it's from Flagstaff. It's pretty good. I've had it before. Pretty delicious, and that is my drink of choice. Hoshi, what are you drinking?
So I'm keeping it simple this week. I'm drinking some Old Foster's 1897 Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. And I had this for the first time when I was in New Orleans last weekend, and this is some good stuff, boy. If you guys haven't tried this, you should. It goes down smooth and smoky.
I want to say you are nothing but simple when you come to your drinks, man. We're like, we both open a beer and you're like, oh no, I got this it's 23-year-old. It's like older than probably 90% of our audience,
Yeah. Yeah, you're talking about like a whiskey from 1897, like during actual steampunk.
Yeah.
No, it's not that actual old. Come on, I'm not like a millionaire. This thing is, I think it's from the Prohibition time, the way that they actually make the whiskey is. I'm not actually sure how old it is, but it's 100 proof, so it is fire.
Fun fact, kids, they made whiskey in bathtubs, dirty ones, might I add, from mobsters' basements. That's how they did in Prohibition. So he's drinking some good old toilet wine.
That's how I still do it. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's good to be back with you boys. So cheers.
Cheers.
Episode 21. Cheers. Let's get her done. That's our untap step. And always after our untap is our upkeep. Let me get the foam off of my face. And that is the Reddit rant. So I'm going to turn it over to Hoshi, and he's going to tell us what we're going to talk about.
All right, guys. This is Reddit rant. So, Magic is a game that evokes strong opinions and emotions from all players. Some of those players scream their frustrations into the void of the internet, and each week I hunt down the best psychotic rant that I can find, and I bring it to you guys. So this week we got a fiery rant from, this is some name right here, La Ville Edui or something. All right, yeah, Laviel. Let's go with that. All right, so this Reddit rant came from actually a post that I made where I was just asking, what are arena players complaining about this week? And then I promptly got an immediate reaction from somebody saying, we're complaining about people who are asking what we're complaining about. Fantastic. Thank you for that, you fiery dickhead. But then I got a great rant later on. I don't understand why people downvote when people complain about stuff. I love it. Maybe that's just me. I'm negative, I guess. But yeah, but people on Reddit, they really don't like it when people complain about stuff. And this one's pretty good. So here we go by Mr. Laviel. If I complain, then it's usually about questionably balanced cards in Standard, like Ruin Crab, the 1-mana win condition that must answer threat that mills for 3 at no cost at all, while other mill cards like Thieves Guild Enforcer need a deck with rogues plus requires spending mana, but mills only 2. I dislike Ugin as well because this guy's hitting all the hot spots. This guy dislike Ugin as well because of many reasons. Another card I find very questionable is Winota. What, Winota? I don't know where. Unless you go super crazy on removal or offense, that card makes the game break incredibly quick. Why do I focus on this questionably balanced aspect? Well, I have been modifying games for about 10 years and had to make important balance and design decisions. A good design practice is to not balance OP stuff out with other OP stuff. I gotta agree with him there. Or balancing OP stuff out with specific actions, like shoot swarm is no problem. It dies to Heartless Act. Problem is, Heartless Act does little to Ugin decks. I'm aware these things get aggravated because my collection plus experience doesn't allow me to play best of 3. I don't know what that means. Why should anyone care? WotC could, at least. I am not planning to pay anything on Arena because of this. Among other reasons, unsure how long I'll play it, the buggy nature of Arena. Thank you for reading this ranting. I feel better now.
Okay.
I love that ending. This is a guy that
Sounds like your best friend, dude.
I know. I mean, I asked a simple question: what are people ranting about? And he was just like, all the things.
Yeah.
Fuck Ruin Crab, fuck Ugin, fuck Shoot Swarm, fuck Winota, which I don't hear anyone complain about Winota, but hey, whatever, get it in there, Leviel. Yes. What do you guys think about this ranter?
Paulo.
This is just, I don't know. This is like complete ridiculous to me. Like, I don't know. I am like the exact opposite. I'm like the wrong person to ask. Like, I don't complain about any cards. I love everything in Magic. Sure, things can be like frustrating or whatever, but this rant is just completely hilarious. I mean, Skeet Swarm, like, really? Like, I don't know. I mean, there's power creep, right? Like, Wizards is going to do power creep. As long as Hasbro's there, power creep is going to happen. That's an unfortunate thing, but man, this guy is firing on all cylinders on his like rant anger level. It's hilarious.
Yeah, that's great. Drunken, what do you think?
I'm gonna just repeat what Apollo said before he went on his little rant right there. Is I think you picked this because do you have like an alias on Reddit and this is just you? Because this sounds like you. You're just like, I don't like this card because it's fucking stupid in this situation, or I don't like this card because this one time and this very like hedge case scenario, it did me dirty, so I don't like it anymore. This
shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this is Hoshi. So yeah.
You know what? I'm actually going to agree with you. Conspiracy theory, like Charlie Day from like Sunny in Philadelphia, like pointing all the symbols. Yeah, like just a fun fact for all those listening and tuning in or watching. I sent like a link to Hoshi for a Reddit rant about people complaining about Ugin. So maybe like Hoshi like actually was like, no, fuck that. I'm going to complain about all the things, like slamming on his keyboard. Like Ugin, Scoosworm, like Winota. He's trying to hide it because he loves Winota, you know? Like,
Ugin's not enough. I
hate all the things.
Oh, that
If you're not
true.
playing elves, it's not magic.
Sounds like someone I know.
You're playing counter spells with islands, you idiot.
That's good.
That's a
man.
good rant. That's a good rant.
That's great. Yeah. I thought this one was just perfect. So, Mr. Laville, thank you for screaming your emotions into the internet. I appreciate it. I think everyone else did. Hey, if anyone else out there, you got some good Reddit rant or some psychotic thing that you saw, throw me the link. I love to read these. I love to read these. I don't know why people downvote these. Hey, throw Laville an upvote. Yeah, he deserved it for that. All right, and that was Reddit rant. Back to you.
Yeah, so let us know in the comments below or send us an email. Let us know what you think about the Reddit rant, or is Hoshi actually like secretly in the behind the lines complaining solely about all these cards? Yeah. Shh. So after our upkeep is always followed by our draw step, and that's just really quickly where we talk about what Magic formats or what we have been doing Magic related this week. So I'll turn it over to Drunken Dork this week. What have you been doing?
I have been doing nothing but historic on Arena. I haven't played any Commander or anything, and I built this really fun Esper like flash deck. And
cool.
Yeah, it was kind of like to battle the meta, but I definitely found some faults in it. Like, absolutely. There's some decks I've gone against. Like, I always like discount the life gain deck because you don't see it that often. And then when you do, it just fucking, I don't know, man. That deck just always blows me out of the water. This is a best of one deck, by the way, this Esper Flash deck. And so, I've been playing a lot of that. Got through gold. Because I'll talk about it in the end step, but like because I've been playing another game, I haven't really been playing as much Magic, so I definitely haven't been doing the mono white thing like I said. I am going to do it next month, though, for sure.
Dude, the road to Mythic is a tough one. None of us have reached yet. So, Hoshi, what about you?
So I haven't got a chance to play very much, but I did. Me and Drunken were talking about Dimir last week, so I did make a Dimir deck. I took a shell from like one of the popular ones that I saw on MTG Goldfish. But I didn't like how its sole win condition was basically just the torrential Gear Hulk, that was it. Everything else was just kills and counters and stuff. I was like, nah, that's not gonna fly for me. I need a couple more win conditions in there. So I took a couple Gear Hulks out and I put in Ashiok. I put in both Ashioks. I put one that mills you and then erases your exiles your library, and then the other one is just the other normal Ashiok, which I think is actually great when you are running in a deck like that where you're just killing and countering stuff. And I think it works very well in the meta right now because I'm playing Fatal Push and like really low end stop cards like that, the Censor counter as well, which is good early, and then you can just cycle it away later and then get better stuff. So I really like that card actually. Yeah. So it's a lot of stuff like that where I'm not really doing anything until it's a very control-y, right? Until the end, and Ashiok gets out there. I've never killed anyone with it. Everybody concedes to it. I've never killed one person. They're always like, nope, I've had enough. I'm also running that one counter spell, Sublime Epiphany in there, which is I only run one of them. But
good.
Oh man, last night I countered a Ulamog with it, and it counters a triggered ability too. So not only does it counter Ulamog, it counters his triggered ability too at the same time. The guy, it was great because he cast Ulamog and he gave me a hello there, and I was like, oh buddy, hello. Sublime Epiphany. No one sees that coming, dude.
Is that the creature that has the cycling ability?
Sublime Epiphany?
Yeah, I forget.
No,
it's an actual spell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it has like different modes on it.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. Oh, the with like 5. It costs like 5
It's like
blue mana and shit.
I think
yeah.
it's 6 total.
It's
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
But it can counter spell. It can counter triggered ability. It can return a permanent to a hand.
Yeah.
It can copy a permanent that you have on the battlefield, or a creature that you have on the battlefield, and it target player can draw a card. So I did that. I countered his Ulamog. I returned his stupid monument to his hand, and then I copied my Torrential Gearhulk as well, and then like brought something. It was ridiculous. The guy was like, concede.
How funny, the cards you hate the most, you can get rid of with blue. Fun
Dude,
fact,
when you
kids, play
lose-
islands.
Yeah, dude, when you lose like 10 games in a row with your explore deck that you're trying to make work, you're like, that's it, I'm going to the dark side. I will
Yeah.
make people suffer like I have.
Anakin, I have the higher ground. Oh, islands, I love you.
Demir, I'm going to Demir. Yeah, that's great.
So, based on what you guys were talking about last episode, and if you guys haven't tuning in or watching, please make sure you check out episode 20 of that. They both Drunken Dork and Hoshi extensively talk about Azorius and Demir. So from what you guys were talking about, I kind of like I'm still in the process of brewing an Esper control deck. Esper was a very, very popular style of control for many, many years, but most specifically when Return to Ravnica was in Standard. And it's a little difficult, I would say, in Historic. There is a lot of great black cards, and the mana base is really good, but I think the difficulty arises in what do you take out? The Azorius control deck is pretty refined. I think there's like some wiggle room, but I think like the straight up Azorius control would play very differently than like an Esper control deck. I would imagine I would want like the full copies of like Thoughtseize, Fatal Push, maybe some like black removal to get rid of like problem creatures or permanents. But it's quite difficult, but that's something I want to like get into because I do love Demir, I love Azorius, and Esper is like my favorite control strategy. So that's something I've been kind of brewing. It's still in the process. Maybe next week I can give an update on that. But as for actually playing, back on my Sultai mid-range, I love that deck. That is just the deck I've been playing for, I don't even know, since I started Arena, I think. Since Explorer was in Standard, I've been playing Sultai. So just back on that deck is extremely powerful. It's tier 1. Like there's nothing else that can be said about it. It's such a powerful, extremely efficient deck. Also playing the Azorius control deck that won the Zendikar Rising Championship. It's a cool deck for sure. I like it. It's control. I'm glad to see Azorius out there. I'm not taking away who won. I forget his name. Who won
Brad
and went
Barclay.
undefeated.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
went
Barclay.
undefeated. That's insane. Like, kudos to
yeah.
you, man. That is an amazing feat.
Bad skill.
Yeah, because I still think Sultai is slightly better positioned than Azorius Control. The fact that he went undefeated with it is incredibly a testament to how much big brain power you need to play that type of control style. So kudos to him. I'm trying to make it work. I'm not doing good at all. So yeah,
Not
but
big
that's pretty much what I've been doing. I haven't been playing that much as I would like. But you know, we'll see. We'll see with the new sets that are coming out, and that will lead us into our next phase. Our main phase, main topic, Kaldheim spoilers. If you guys don't know, tuning in, watching, it is like a Viking, Norse, Scandinavian kind of theme. It's really cool, super flavorful. We're going to talk about some key spoilers that we thought were pretty interesting until maybe more information comes out. So we're just going to go over that right now. And I guess initial impressions. What do you guys think about Kaldheim? Like, as a planes, it's a brand new planes. It's not recycled. Like, how do you guys think about that? Like, whatever, initial impressions. Hoshi.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds really cool. I think it's something that Magic hasn't done before with the whole Viking theme. of it, which is kind of what it seemed like, and it seems like it's going kind of in a different direction to me. We're very early in the spoiler season, but it seems almost more Lord of the Rings to me than it is really Viking, I think. I mean, the angels and that stuff, yeah, that's Viking, but there's a lot of elves, and then there's dwarves, and there's these shapeshifters and giants and stuff. And so, yeah, I love it. I dig the flavor of it. I love tribal, you guys know that. So I'm excited to see this is my favorite time of year, right? It's the spoiler season. It's so exciting. So yeah,
Christmas again.
I love it.
Mm-hmm, yeah, no, that's
right.
a great point. Drunken, what do you think? Initial impressions of this new Planes?
I really enjoy it. Just like Hoshi said, I think it's always really exciting when they release something new. And so far, it doesn't look like OP. Like, what was the set that came out this time last year?
War of the Spark, or
no, the fantasy set.
Eldraine.
Throne of Eldraine.
Yeah. So I don't think it looks like that powerful, at least so far. It looks really fun. Like me and Hoshi have expressed many times, I love equipment. I love just powering up a dude, doing some Voltron ass shit. So I think this set looks like it's geared towards something like that. It's interesting. They have a god already spoiled. It's the first god that's not indestructible. So isn't it right? Well, it doesn't return to your hand, at least,
yes.
Okay,
There's
so
no recursion.
Yeah,
there's no recursion.
Yeah, so no recursion or indestructible or anything like that. It's just when it dies, it dies. So I just think it seems really interesting so far. It definitely seems like it's geared towards Commander, but that could just be because these are early spoilers and Commander is their biggest audience, for Magic right now. So who knows, right? Yeah, exactly.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Like from a financial standpoint, right? Yeah, if you can't see Hoshi's doing the shaking the fingers, got the money sign in his eyes, we know Wizards and Hasbro loves those dollar bills, y'all.
Yeah,
who doesn't?
So let's get into the spoilers. There's a lot of cards spoiled right now, but we chose 8 to talk about. Maybe once more of the theme comes out, maybe there's more cards, more gods, we can expand into some other cards that have already been spoiled. But right now we're going to talk about these chosen 8. And the first one is going to be Halvard, God of the Battle. It is 2 colorless, 2 white for a legendary creature god, as Drunken Dork has stated. It is a 4/4. Now, it's actually a dual modal, and I'll talk about the other side in a second. But its front side says, creatures you control that are enchanted or equipped have double strike. At the beginning of each combat, you may attach target aura or equipment attached to a creature you control to target creature you control. Super powerful right there.
Yes.
And then its alternate flip side says equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has vigilance. That's also pretty good. And then whenever equipped creature dies, return it to its owner's hand and has an equip cost of 1 colorless, 1 white. Hoshi, you are an equipment connoisseur. So what do you think of this god?
Man, this god it's great. I think it's rough that he's lacking. When I saw God, I was immediately disappointed because he didn't have like what Drunken said. He wasn't indestructible. He didn't have any type of recursion on him. I was like, what kind of god is this? And
it's didn't white. See. That's why.
Yeah, and I didn't see that he was attached to an equipment. And the second I saw that this god is also a dual modal equipment, oh man, I did a 180 on this card. I was like, this is awesome. I'm so excited. I mean, it's an equipment. It's a legendary equipment, and it's a legendary creature. And one of the downsides of legendary cards is, especially in the formats like Historic, right, where you can have 4 of these things in your deck, is running multiple legendaries. Sometimes you have one down, and you can't put another one, right? It just sits in your hand
Embercleave, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? But this card is dual modal, so we can have both sides down at the same time. So it's not as painful to put 4 of these in your deck because the chance of you having 3 of them in your hand is low. So, I mean, in Arena, you never know, right? Trying to screw you over with their algorithm. But but I still, like, I love this card. I mean, I love both sides of it. It's a very interesting card. And I think it's one of the most complex cards to come out so far with the way that it interacts with rules, especially like Commander and stuff. I think Drunken Dork, you looked up actually how this card technically works in some weird scenarios, right?
As far as what? As far as Commander goes?
Yeah, running it as a Commander.
Yeah, it looks like it's just basically Commander, and it costs Commander tax works on both sides of the card, just like it would on any other card.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So just for some correction ruling for people listening and tuning in the command zone, it will always be the creature side. But so far, unless the committee says otherwise, but so far how it would work is it would always be a creature in the command zone, but when you cast it, you can cast it for the other side, but you still have to pay the commander tax, whatever that may be. So whatever your commander tax is, you still have to pay that cost. Now, Drunken Dork, we established... For everyone listening, if you don't know us by now, we know that Hoshi loves equipment. But Drunken Dork is actually like a very proficient Boggles player, Auras player, so this is like very relevant to you too. Drunken Dork, how do you feel about this dual modal god?
I fucking love it. Like, I don't know honestly if it's going to make a huge impact in Historic, but I definitely see it being playable in Historic. Like, I do see it being relevant. The fact that there's a 2-mana, a 2/0 vigilance equipment on there, that when your creature dies, it returns to your hand, like that is really relevant. So, like, depending on what colors you're putting it in with, like, so like say you do white and black, there's that 1-mana creature that when it dies and then returns from the graveyard, exits the graveyard, it becomes a 5/5, right? So, like, if you were to equip it onto that, potentially, like, you're getting back a 5/5, and then you still have an equipment on the battlefield. Like, there is potential here. Like, you don't just look at it at one side. You have to look at it as both sides. And I think the equipment side is pretty powerful, and the creature side's incredibly powerful. Like, I think it's great. It's just 4 mana is a lot in Historic, which is, every time I say that, it just it blows my mind, because 4 mana is like nothing, Yeah. But like, in Historic, it's like, it's impactful. But I really like this. I am super excited to brew with this card. I am like, seeing this makes me wonder what the other gods look like, because I'm really hoping the other gods are also equipment based, because we could see some potentially really cool cards.
Mm-hmm. You guys made some really, really good, strong points. Something that I was thinking of is, we already have like the blue-white auras. We have like a mono-white auras that Drunken Dork has talked about extensively in other episodes. Something else thinking is, I don't know if this will go in the blue-white auras deck with Core Spirit Dancer, but I wonder if there could be like an artifact aura deck, like where they're using like the most powerful equipments, because you can attach target aura or equipment. That's a key thing, so you can utilize both those things. And I don't know if this is like the core, right? But I think this is like probably maybe better as a sideboard card in best of 3, or maybe as a 2 of or a 3 of for the late game for auras if you're utilizing equipment. So like, let's say like you don't have your core Spirit Dancer, but you're using some other creatures and you've attached the auras to it. But now you finally have your core Spirit Dancer. You get this god out, and now you can bring all the auras eventually back to the core Spirit Dancer and make it huge, vigilance, flying, double strike, whatever, all the nonsense, right? And then a fact that Hoshi has pointed out, you could technically have 2 copies of this on the battlefield, the god side and the equipment side, so that could be pretty relevant as well. Maybe like, auras can be pretty, if they're not winning in the very beginning of the game, how do you have late staying power? Maybe this card could be a way for them to utilize that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, moving on. We got a new Planeswalker. Kaya is back. Kaya is back, and she is in Kaldheim. It is Kaya the Inexorable. I don't think I'm saying that right. But she is 3 colorless, 1 white, 1 black for a legendary Planeswalker, and her name is Kaya with 5 loyalty. Her +1 is put a ghost form counter on up to 1 target non-token creature. It gains whenever this creature dies or is put into exile, return it to its owner's hand, and create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Her -3 is exile target non-land permanent, and her ultimate for -7 is you get an emblem with, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a legendary spell from your hand, from your graveyard, or from among cards you own in exile without paying its mana cost. Hoshi, Planeswalker, Kaya. What do you think?
I'm super hot on this card. I love this card. I like Kaya as a Planeswalker already. Like, I just think she's kind of a cool character. But her last 3-1 kind of sucked, and then the other one from War of the Spark kind of sucked. But this one, I immediately, when I saw the ghost form counter on there, I thought it was going to come immediately back to the battlefield, which I felt like this was going to be super busted. It returns it back to your hand, so that is okay, right? It stops you from board wipe, it saves you from board wipes, right? It at least restocks your hand if you get board wiped, and you get the spirits back, so you get a creature on the battlefield too. So I feel like this is very good for creature-based decks. And then the -3 is so powerful, right? This is a 5-drop, okay? And it's exile target non-land permanent. There's no restrictions on that, right? Just non-land permanent exile. That's so good. And you still have Kaya after that. Kaya's at 2 loyalty, right? But you can drop her down and deal with something that's bothering you, and it's gone forever. It's exiled, right? Pretty amazing. And then the emblem is just, it's an emblem. It's very good, right? There's a lot of good things. The crazy thing about this emblem is that you can pull your creatures that have been exiled out of exile onto the battlefield. That's pretty cool. It's very Kaya of her. So I like the flavor of this card. I like everything about it, actually. I'm really excited about Kaya. I think she's going to go very well in vampire decks.
Drunken, what do you think about Kaya?
I'm not particularly high on this card. I think it might make an impact on Historic. It is 5 mana, which is the problem. The -3 is nice. The +1 is nice. I think both of them are nice. The -7 is insane. Yeah, that is the main thing I pulled out of it, is you may take a card out of exile and put it. Yeah. So I think that, that line of text alone is very odd. But I really like it because it really fits with her. And if you look at the actual card art and not the modified or the special card art, I think she looks like a badass, man. She looks dope as hell. But I don't know. I'm not super high on this card. It is cool though. I do like it. I'm excited for it in other formats.
So for me, what this reminds me of is old school modern Abzan mid-range. Old school modern mid-range used a lot of spirits, sacrificing your own creatures, being able to have a lot of good replacement effects, and using creatures with the 1/1 spirits with flying to be able to have staying power against control, against board wipes. And I think she fits into this very well. What am I saying? Abzan mid-range is going to be prevalent in Historic in Kaldheim? We don't know yet, but I would love to see Abzan battle against Sultai. I would love to see Sultai get taken down a couple notches, and I think at the very least Kaya is a step in the correct direction. 5 mana is not that bad for a mid-range deck. Both of her modes are very relevant. As Hoshi has stated, exiling target non-land permanent. Oh, just get rid of the thing I don't like? Yeah. Yes, please. And being able to have resiliency by putting ghost form counters on your creatures. It goes back to your hand. You can recast it. Something I can think of is ETB effects. That would be insanely good to be able to recast with ETB, and then you have a creature. It replaces itself. So, and the creature would have evasion because it has flying. So that's something I think could be pretty relevant as we approach more in spoilers. Hoshi, you got something to say?
So I think also this card is a direct answer to Ugin. A lot of people are complaining about Ugin, and the ghost form counters actually protect you from Ugin because it doesn't exile the card. If it gets exiled, it returns that card back to your hand, and you get a spirit too. So if Ugin wipes your board and you have a couple ghost form counters on there, those ghost forms go back to your hand. They don't get exiled, and you get spirits on the battlefield to kill Ugin that next turn. So I think this is a direct answer to all the Ugin bitches and whinies that have been going on.
Ugin gets rid of Kaya, though, as well. You know, like, that is the thing.
Yeah, that's true. He does.
But you can get Kaya before Ugin.
Yes.
And be able to put the ghost forms on the things that you want, right? And then Ugin happens, wipes, yada, yada. And that's something I want to, like, point out to all you, like, newer players out there, you know, complaining about cards. With like an actual positive like passion, this is how Magic works. There's always going to be blocks. Like, there's going to be a card that you're going to view as like extremely oppressive. Magic will print something. It has been done for over 20 years. There's a card that's oppressive. They print another card that handles that card, so on and so forth. The cycle repeats. We've seen it with like Bloodbraid Elf with Cascade and stuff like that. Cascade was like broken. Ban Cascade. That shouldn't have been a mechanic. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how Kaya is, but I like her. I dig her. Moving on, we have Realm Walker, which is 2 colorless and a green for a creature shapeshifter. It is a 2/3, and it is changeling. This card is every creature type. As Realm Walker enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast creature spells of the chosen type from the top of your library. Now, Houston, calm down. I know you are raging hard right now, but I want to turn it over to the Drunken Dork. What do you think of Realm Walker?
Yeah, you know, you were saying about Hoshi right there is, I am very into tribal, like, so much so that, like, majority of my commander decks are tribal, but I've been trying to, like, pull off tribal decks on Historic for a while. Like, hence I've made, you know, rogues, right? Like, I've made other decks too. I've made elves, I've made goblins. Like, I love tribal. And so I actually think Realm Walker is going to work really well. It's slotted in with only 3 mana and only 1 green into like a really good position where you could do like potentially like green, white, black humans or something, and you know, play some really good mid-range human deck, which I've been really wanting to play, or, you know, like, or anything else, you know, like, I just think that this card, out of like actually many of the cards that have been spoiled, is going to be one of the better ones going into Historic so far, you know, without seeing anything else.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Hoshi, what do you think about Realm Walker?
So I love it, and I love, I mean, besides the fact that it's a tribal card, that it's a changeling, which we don't have any changelings in Arena right now, unless I'm wrong. Do we?
I think. Oh no, we only have shape.
No.
Well, it's a shapeshifter changeling,
but
shapeshifters.
But this one is a changeling as well. Yeah. So it's all creature types. If people don't know what changeling is, so I immediately, I mean, obviously this goes well in, you know, elf decks. This is an immediate slot into an elf deck, but it also, I thought of Ren and Siri immediately. Ren and Siri, right, is a terrible card that I love because it's a cat and dog card, you know, and so this will double trigger Ren and Siri when it comes in because it's a cat and it's a dog, so it'll trigger both sides of Ren and Siri, and it'll allow you to pull more stuff off the top. So I mean, it works in those like janky cat and dog decks very well too. So I love this card. I think it's just you know, it's balanced for tribal stuff, and I'm always in favor of tribal. Yeah, so I like it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's gonna slot really well in Commander, really well in Brawl, Historic Brawl. But for Tribal, yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you guys. This card, I'm not gonna talk about too much because it's just really good. Like I think what like Drunken said, it will be in, like for sure. If any card is gonna definitely be in the meta, it is this one for sure. Like it will go in Collected Company Elf decks. It will push this turn 2, like Land of War Elves, turn 2 Realm Walker, and then boom, you're casting shit right off the top of your library. Super powerful. Enough said. Moving on. Youthful Valkyrie. It is a creature angel for 1 colorless, 1 white for a 1/3 with flying. Whenever another angel enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Youthful Valkyrie. Now, Hoshi, I think you had some discussion about this. What do you think about this card?
Yeah, this is like probably my favorite card actually to come out so far, which may be weird because it's an uncommon card, but I've looked into making Angel tribal decks for a long time, and there's a decent one in Historic right now, but it still starts off a little bit slow. And this one, there are not like a lot of low costing angels, just in general. Definitely not a lot of 2-cost angels that are worth anything. There are some low costing angels, but they're bad for the most part, despite Resplendent Angel. Resplendent Angel is great, and it's a low cost one, but this is a 2-drop angel, and it has the potential to grow on its own when you cast more angels with it. So this is very much slotting into having an actual competitive angel tribal deck, which my janky tribal side just really loves being able to get a flyer like this, and 4 of them alone, like, right, you can dump if you had like 4 of these in your hand and just dumping them in, right, the first one is gonna get +3/+3 by the end of the time you get all the other ones in there. So I mean, they grow themselves alone. There's Bishop of Wings. There's a lot of like angel support in this deck too, along with Starhelm Aspirant, which angel spells you cast cost 2 less to cast, which is great for white because white doesn't ramp, right? So being able to cast high cost angels, like there's a lot of angel support in this deck. So I'm really hype about a angel tribal deck coming in.
Drunken, what do you think about this card?
I'm not excited about it. It will be fun to see. I do believe, you can build some janky shit. Like I'm looking through like what's legal in Historic right now, and it looks like if you were to build some angel decks like with that would be viable, that are like angels that are 3 colorless or 3 mana or less, there actually is quite a bit, and it looks like it'd be like the colors would be America, like red, white, and blue, and
yes,
and so it looks like it could be viable potentially.
Yeah, I mean, for Historic competitive, I don't think this will be viable at all. If you're trying to just take it in unranked and want to do some angel jank, that's cool. I think this will be actually better slotted for Commander, more specifically with like a Kalia type deck, or if you're doing Historic Brawl, the lamer version of Kalia, the other Kalia.
Terrible.
That's the only thing I can really honestly see it being really good in. But yeah, for regular competitive, I just don't think it's viable at all. But for jank, absolutely. If you want to have some flavorful kind of things, you want to do some tribal, this is a really great low-costing angel for sure. Moving on, we have Canopy Tactician. It is 3 colorless and 1 green for a creature elf warrior. It is a 3/3, and it's also a lord. Other elves you control get +1/+1, and it also has tap, add 3 green mana to your mana pool. Drunken, what do you think about this card?
I mean, it's a lord, right? An elf lord, I should say. And it looks like a lord. It's a 4 mana, tap for 3, add +1/+1 to all your elves. Like, it looks good. It looks like potentially it could help elves. I don't know. We got to see what other elves come in, but lords are always good. 4 mana is kind of steep, but if you have 2 of them in your elf deck, I think it could potentially be pretty damn good.
Hoshi, what do you think?
So I'm a little conflicted about this card. It's great because Elves has currently in Historic 3 Lords right now, right? It has the 1/2 drop.
Elvish Clan Caller.
Clan Caller, and then we have 2/3 drops. The Archdruid and the one that makes tokens. I forget its name, but yeah. So we have 3 Lords, right? So you could potentially have 12 Lords in your deck right now. This would take it up to 16 Lords in your deck, which is a lot of Lords. That's a lot of Lords.
Yeah.
But it's like Drunken Dork said, the 4 makes it kind of not as good. Because it's also a huge downside to this is it takes away from Collected Company, right? You cannot pull this out with Collected Company.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's kind of like, do you play Collected Company or do you play this? I don't know. I think testing would have to be done to really figure out which one would be better. I think Collected is still better. That's just my guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to agree with you both. I think like this is a false identity. It's a Lord that's really cool, but it doesn't work with Collected Company. And then the other Lords just generate more mana. Like Rishkar makes more mana. Elvish Archdruid makes way more mana. You know, like this. Yeah, cool. You get the Lord effect, but it only adds 3. And you're like, wait, but 3's a lot. And it's like, no, elves can generate a lot more than that, you know?
Yeah.
Elvish Archdruid is a testament to that. So, yeah, I think for 4 mana, maybe further testing, but I just don't think I would want to take out anything. I think there has to be some other elves. Something else to tie in with Elven Ambush, where you create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature for each elf you control, and it's also at 4 mana at instant speed. I don't know. I think it's more of a win more card. I would tie these two together. This one's just more of a win more. It does not work against board wipes. You're just like making the Wrath of God blue player, making him hard. Like, why?
Yeah.
So, moving on to our last. No, what your final thought?
Oh, I was gonna say you're instead of Elvish Ambusher, you're better off running Heroic Intervention, right, and just saving you from the board wipe at that point. I don't know why people don't play Heroic Intervention more. It is so good with the board wipey board state that's going on. So,
absolutely.
Anyway, that was it. Yeah.
Final 2 cards, we have Pyre of Heroes, a 2-mana artifact. Birthing Pod's back. It is so its text is quite long. So it has 2 colorless, tap. Sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a creature card that shares a creature type with the sacrificed creature and has converted mana cost equal to 1 plus that creature's converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. There's a lot of text here. If you don't know what Birthing Pod is, we're going to explain it pretty extensively right now. So, Drunken Dork, what's your impressions of this card? How do you feel about it?
So this is probably my favorite card to be spoiled so far. It's incredibly powerful. I don't know if it's going to make the biggest impact in Historic, but I really hope it does. Like, looking at the entire set so far, there are a lot of shapeshifters. So the good thing about that is, like, things are malleable in Historic, or they will be potentially, right? Like, you can't have elves, you can't have humans, you can have rogues, you can have, like, multiple different strategies, or dwarfs, according to this set. And I think the potential here is actually really high. Like, the ability to sack something on the fly, like this, opposed to a Birthing Pod can only be used as a sorcery. Mm-hmm. This can be used at any time.
No,
right?
This can only be used as a sorcery as well.
Oh, it can? Oh, shoot. Then
that's its last,
Oh, yeah, okay. Anyway,
good.
It's still really good because, I think there is enough in Historic to make this, like, power out some powerful stuff. Like, I think there is a huge potential for humans, and I think there's a huge potential for angels, actually. I think you like if they're making 2-costed angels, like I think there is a potential for something like that, you know. And
Absolutely.
angels, like if out of all the cards, like all of the creature types in Magic, I think angels are like some of the most powerful. You know, so many of them are legendary, right? And like this ability to cheat them out for, you know, by sacrificing something and searching your library, it's basically like having another card in your hand. So I think this card is good and has a lot of potential going into Historic.
Hoshi, what do you think about this card?
So, I mean, tribal. You'd think I would think of all these crazy situations to use it for, as I love tribal. But the immediate thing that came to my mind was the Neoform combo, where that combo is kind of inconsistent, right? If you slotted in a 1-drop wizard into that deck, that's it. You sack that 1-drop wizard, and then boom, you can grab the Seagate Stormcaller out of your deck, and then bam, bam, kick off the Neoform combo. So I think this card actually makes the Neoform combo more stable in a lot of ways, where you might have Neoform in your hand, but you don't have the Stormcaller, right? You can get, and then if you're putting, there's a 1-drop wizard where you drop it in, and it allows you to scry for 2 as well, right? That works very well in that deck because you could scry into, get in your Neoform, and then you could use that to sack that 1-drop, and then boom, hit your Stormcaller. I don't know. That was immediately came to my mind. Was I don't like that combo. You know,
no, that's a
like,
really good idea.
Yeah, it would make it a lot stronger. And then it's just obviously very powerful in any other deck. Having it at instant speed would have been amazing, right? Being able to sack something in response to like a kill spell or something would have made this thing, just wow. But I mean, it's still very good. They can't stop the trigger once it happens, right? Or they can maybe counter the trigger.
Yeah, they can counter the trigger.
Once you sacrifice the creature, they can't kill it in response. It's too late. The trigger is on the stack, so this thing is happening if it goes off. So this is a very powerful, and I think we're gonna see this card a lot.
So, as I've stated before, so Birthing Pod is actually banned in Modern, and the reason for that was it didn't have the tribal theme. It was typically used, for those who don't know, in Magic's past, it was used in Abzan, and it used a lot of creatures with ETB effects and utilizing -1/-1 counters like Balira, Wall of Roots, and then sacrificing something, get the ETB, and it had a really great way of recycling creatures. Okay, so this has tribal. This has a tribal theme. So obviously it's like considerably weaker than Birthing Pod, right? Like that's without a doubt. So what I'm thinking of is actually with Kaya, using the ghost form counters on a tribal theme.
Nice.
Sacrificing those creatures, getting something else out. It had the ghost form counter. That creature goes back into your hand, cast it again. But what tribe does that fit in? I'm not sure. Maybe vampires? I think black-white vampires fits that the best. You can also use Sorin.
Humans.
Esper humans. That's a good idea.
Aristocrats.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, right?
Yeah.
Black, white, red. Aristocrats.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I think this would be good in like a mid-range kind of like recursion, aristocrats kind of like strategy, making sure you utilize like ETB effects, negative effects for your opponents, some kind of recursion where the creatures come back and they benefit from dying or entering, right? That's where I see this fitting in. Is it going to be
like that
in the meta? I actually think it will. I think it will. I think it will push something to the forefront. What that will be, I'm not sure. Time will tell, I guess. So our last card is a saga, an enchantment saga. We got sagas again. It's called Showdown of the Skalds. It's 2 colorless, red and white. Boros. Hoshi. As this saga enters, and after your draw step, add a lore counter, sacrifice after 3. So its first saga is exile the top 4 cards of your library until the end of your turn. until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. And its second and third saga are, whenever you cast a spell this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Hoshi, I'll start it off with you. What do you think about this new saga?
God, I love this saga. I mean, it's card draw for Boros, right? Boros really needs card draw desperately, and this is the right way of doing card draw for Boros, right? Is this whole you exile it afterwards. You get like a turn to, because Boros is very strong in other ways. It really is. And if they give Boros card draw on a level like blue would, it would just blow blue out of the water because it would just fucking murder them with all of the burn and kill spells and stuff that they have and strong creatures. So they can't give Boros too much, because if they give it too much, it's going to go from like down at the bottom to at the top. So giving it this type of card draw is good. I really wish the second part of the saga was the first part, right? If you would have got, maybe that's asking too much. Getting 2 turns of card draw out of it, that's probably too much. But I like it. I like the card draw off of it. The second part is okay, right? Whenever you cast a spell this turn, put a 1/1 counter. I immediately thought of Feather, though. So if you have Feather on the field, right? Or if you get Feather out with this, it allows you to get 4 cards deeper. Every time you're casting a spell, which you can cast a lot of 1-drop cantrips and stuff with this, you can make Feather into a immortal killing machine at that point. Feather's downside is that it's 1 creature and it's not very strong, right? But if every time you're casting something on it, you're buffing it with a +1/+1 counter, you can kill the person in a turn or 2 easily.
Interesting.
So, that was my thought.
Drunken.
I like Feather.
Yeah, no, Feather is an amazing card. Drunken, what do you think?
All right, so Showdown of the Scald. Yeah, I think this card's pretty fucking dope. Like, I think it's pretty good. Exile the top 4 cards. It's in Boros. Like, that's exactly what they need. The thing is, it's 4 mana, and I've said it already. I think 4 mana is like pretty. It's a pretty high costed card in Historic. Like, it has to be pretty important. And like, the unfortunate thing is, if this card was 3 mana, like 1 red white, I think it would be really good, and I don't think it would be overpowered. Honestly, the fact that it's 4, I think that like like I said, I think it's good, but I think like maybe you only want 2 in your deck, because this second ability here, whenever you cast a spell this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. That's relevant for the first ability because you have 4 cards in exile, so you potentially have 4 cards in your hand the next turn. Like that would be really good in a 3 mana cost, but unfortunately, like, I don't know. It looks like a 2 of, or maybe even a 1 of in a potential like Feather deck.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. If this was 3 mana, this would be so perfect for Boros.
Yes.
But something I can see is, once again, touching on what I talked about earlier in the episode, is late game staying power. So for like the Colossal Hammer deck, this is something that enables it to have that late game staying power, right? Yeah. It wins in that turns 1 to 4, right? It wins in that, right? In that little pocket. Turns 4 and beyond, what does it do? This card. This is exactly what that deck needs. It lets you get the hammer. It gets you the cards you need. But as Hoshi has already stated, I would wish that the saga was actually 1 and 2 instead of 1, 2, and 3, right? Like, I wish the first 2 sagas were exile the top 4 of your library, instead of like the putting a +1/+1 counter is just, I don't know, good for Feather, right? Like, as you said. But I wish the first 2 sagas were exile the top 4. I think it would be really good in that Colossal Hammer deck and push that deck into the meta as well. So there you have it. That's our...
Hold on. I did want to say we did forget 1 card that could potentially like make a huge impact in Historic, and that's Armed and Armored.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. My bad. It is 1 colorless, 1 white. For an instant, vehicles you control become artifact creatures until end of turn. Choose a dwarf you control. Attach any number of equipment you control to it. Drunken Dork, take it away.
Yeah, so when I saw this, actually the first thing I thought was historic. I was like, actually, when I saw this whole set, the first thing I thought was Commander, and then the second thing I thought was historic because it's dwarf-centric, equipment-centric, and this last set going into a historic was Kaldheim, which is a lot of dwarfs and a lot of equipment. And I think this card, and vehicles, I should say, and this card specifically just like slots into historic so well right now. There's so many good vehicles in historic that I think at a 2 mana cost, this card potentially can be a powerhouse in an aggro deck.
Absolutely. Hoshi, what do you think about this card?
Parhelion 2. that is an amazing vehicle that once you activate it one time, it just continually keeps activating itself, and it's just like game over, right? But like activating it is a problem, and with all vehicles, activating them is a problem. So this card's super cool for that. I really hope we see some fun vehicle decks come about because of just this simple one card. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can be a vehicle deck, and this makes all your vehicles automatically crewed, ready to go and swing in. And they're pretty cheap. They're like kind of like walls, right? Something that I think of flavor-wise from this image, and I know if you guys are listening in, you can't see this, but the image is a bunch of dwarves, and they're all like ready for battle. But there's like a mech in the middle, right? So I'm wondering if like the vehicles for Kaldheim are going to be like mechs as opposed to like cars and airships, you know? So what is there going to be some dwarf mechs? Or are we going to get some cool like dwarf vehicles, right? Super down for that.
Oh, so dope.
Okay, so now those are the 8 spoilers that us, the Mana Dorks, wanted to talk about. But before we end main phase 1, I just want to mention that the rest of the dual modal lands are also spoiled. This is something we've talked about last episode. But just so that you all know, we have the green with the blue side, we have the black with the red side, we have black with the green side, and we have white with the blue side. So finishing off the 10 guilds, we now have all 10 dual-face modal lands. Moving on. From our main phase, we go into combat. Now, here at the Mana Dorks, here at the Mana Rant, you know, we want to make sure that, like, spoiler season, it's a very exciting time. And then, unfortunately, takes a lot of time because we want to, like, go through each of the spoilers. And historic is, like, a very, like, something very key to our heart. So, unfortunately, it's going to extend too much in time. But I'm just going to say I won combat. I just won. You know, I just won whatever.
Oh, man.
I won having mercury poison.
Sure. If it makes you feel good, buddy, you won. You won.
I need this one because you know what? After combat is our main phase 2, the horseshit card game, where I am definitely going to lose. So, Drunken Dork, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, everybody. So this is the horseshit card game. This is a game where now I guess I open packs, and this is what I do. I make up a fake card, and I open a pack. I pick a. Well, now that I have 2 people here, I pick 3 cards, and then I have a fake one, and it's up to them to decide which one is fake. So how well do you guys know Zendikar?
I mean,
decent.
I would say pretty well, but I'm pretty sure not at all.
I can tell you, you're probably going to lose, Apollo.
We'll
now,
see. This is the first one I
this is what I'm
lost.
going to do.
Yeah,
I'm going to open this. I'm going to see what I have here. But, like, going forward, I did actually, from Channel Fireball, I did something where you get, like, 24 packs from different, like, generations of Magic. And so, like, we're going to be going down the generation. So it's going to go down to, like, Return to Ravnica. What do you guys think, like, your most well-known set is?
Oh, Man, I don't know. That's a toughie.
Probably
like
Cons or Return to Ravnica, I would say.
Okay.
I feel like maybe War of the Spark was. That one just had so many good cards in it, like all the way through, that I felt like I was like hyper focused on everything in that set.
Teferi gave you like bad like flashbacks and stuff.
Not just him though. Like there's so many planeswalkers
is,
and yeah.
Well, that's
Kiora.
good. Note to self. So Cons, Michael, you should win, and if you don't, it'll just be you'll just be typical Michael or Apollo.
Yeah.
And then Hoshi, War of the Spark, you should win. Otherwise, you will just otherwise, what's going on? Because you always win.
I mean, sometimes. Yeah.
All right, so y'all ready?
Well.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right,
to do this.
Let me move my microphone so I can actually read these because I am going blind. All right, so
listen to everything he's about to say.
The first card is Expedition Champion. It is 2 and a red. It is a creature human warrior at common. It says Expedition Champion gets +2/+0 as long as you control another warrior. The next card is Core Celebrant. It costs 2 and a white. It is a creature core cleric at common. And it says whenever Core Celebrant or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. And it's a 1/4. The third card is Ulamog's Totem. It is 5 colorless mana. It is an artifact at uncommon. It says tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. And then it says tap 2 mana or add 2 mana. Sacrifice Ulamog's Totem. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of those cards into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Okay. And then the third card is Might of Murasa. It is 1 and a green and is an instant at common. And it says kicker 2 and a green. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. If this spell was kicked, that creature gets +5/+5 until end of turn. So I am going to start it off with Apollo.
Core Celebrant. Final answer. That card is horseshit.
All right. Hoshi.
What was the Ulamog one called?
Ulamog's Totem.
Yeah, I guess I'm going with Ulamog's Totem. I've never heard of that. That doesn't seem like anything I've seen before. Yeah, I'm going with Ulamog's Totem. Final answer.
It is
You got a stupid smile on your face, and I don't like it.
It is so hard to hide because Apollo, you lose again. Oh my God, Hoshi, you win, buddy. You got it. Yeah, Ulamog's Totem is not a card. There is no Ulamog's Totem. I mean, this isn't a great card by any means, but once again, it is a card that I made up. You know me too well, Apollo. Fucking read between the lines, bro.
All right, so let me get this straight. There's a Cruel Celebrant and there's a Core Celebrant.
Yeah, there is.
Oh,
it's a
cool
real card.
Oh, sweet, dude.
The
All
difference is the Cruel Celebrant is not a core, and the Core Celebrant is a core.
Oh,
That's
is that it?
Very observant of you. Hey, Apollo, I just got to say, I'm glad you're back because I lost when you weren't here. So thank you for coming back and allowing me to achieve victory. I appreciate that.
I guess that's what you needed. I was so confident in that. I was like, this idiot. It's Cruel Celebrant, not Core Celebrant. You dumb. And you fucking like stumbled on fucking Ulamog. I'm like, he's reading a fucking card. He can't read. His fucking alcohol is going to his brain. God damn it, man. I swear to God.
That is true. That is true. Me and Drunken were saying during the break that we are both hammered right now.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I am red. I am like...
Cool. No,
So,
that's really cool
yeah.
that you guys are drunk and you're winners, and I am not, and a loser, apparently. I will not be celebrating anything.
Yeah, so I want to just say that was like, I think pretty sure about 20 wins for Hoshi, 1 win for me, and 0 wins for Apollo.
Yeah, no, those numbers are not right. I definitely have like 2 in there.
Sounds right to me.
Yeah, no,
Definitely
right.
nothing. I'm definitely in last place for sure. Like I'm definitely loser of the pack, dude. Well, that was the horseshit card game. What'd you know? Let us know in the comments below. Did you get it right? I'm sure you did, because I didn't, as always. So cool, dude. Really love this game. That was our main phase 2. So now we're going into our end step. Yeah, I'm sure you do. Our end step. This is just other shit we've been doing this week. So let's hear from Mr. Fucking win it all, dude. You know, what are you doing? Who wants to be a millionaire? You fucking Price is Right, piece of shit, motherfucker. Salt. I only put salt on my steak. What have you been doing this week?
So I mean, I just boring work stuff this normal week, just so much of it. But during the weekend, I went to New Orleans, and that was fire because I was hammered while I was there. It was great.
Nice.
Yeah, girlfriend's dad is there, and he's big on the drinking. And their family friends own a bed and breakfast there, which was, oh man, it was great. It's right by the French Quarter, so it was like walkable to the French Quarter. Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, he got us, this bottle and a couple other ones, and the people there, like their friends, so they were busting out all their stuff too, and boy, I mean, they participate in all the like the floats, the Mardi Gras floats there. So you guys probably saw the picture that I sent you of me dressed up like a fucking gay pirate or whatever.
Yeah, you were Johnny Walken, dude.
Yeah, it was crazy. They were like, oh, we're gonna put these like costumes on you, and I was like hammered. I was like, yeah, let's do costumes. That sounds awesome. It was great. So if I ever go back there, they said like, yeah, you wear the costumes, whatever. So if I ever go back to New Orleans, I'm gonna be drinking all studded up. It's gonna be good times.
Amazing.
You guys should come. Yeah, you guys should come. Let's go to New Orleans.
Yeah.
Nolans, man, Nolans.
Yeah.
What have you been doing this week, drunken?
So this week, like I said I was going to be doing last week, I got Cyberpunk. And oh my god, I have
You're getting Keanu Reeves, dude.
Dude, Keanu Reeves, his schlong is like, it's amazing. No, no, I think so. I've been playing like as much video games as I can recently, like with moving and everything, and my life being the way it is. And this is like the most drunken dork specific game I have played in the history of games. Like, I think I will probably go down as playing this game more than any other game, even World of Warcraft. Like, nice. I love it. The world is rich. It's a crazy city. It's not to say that this game doesn't have its problems. It's like Hoshi was saying last week.
Controversy.
I wanted to wait because there's a lot of bugs. Well, I'll tell you what. I bought the game on my Xbox One X, and it is buggy as hell. And it was so bad. And like the thing is, aesthetically, because the game is like the cyberpunk style game where it's like glitchy and stuff. The weird thing is, like, when the game's glitching, you don't know if it's glitching because the game is glitching or because like aesthetically it's glitching. Well, I come to find out that like it was glitching so much on the Xbox One X that it was just that the game was made terribly on the Xboxes and
PlayStation.
And PlayStation. Yeah, it was both consoles. So I bought it again on computer, and it is amazing. It is so good. I have unremarkably put 50 hours in the game.
God.
I have not slept. Like, I have literally been just like staying awake playing it. Like, it is so insane. My wife walked in on me once while, like, during a fuck scene. She's like, what are you doing, Michael? And because there were like legitimate vagina and boobies in my face on the screen. I'm like, I swear, I'm playing a video game, baby. Like,
It's just a game.
like,
Crazy.
it's
I didn't know it
crazy.
was that explicit.
Oh, it's incredibly explicit. Yeah. I can't speak higher of it. Like, the only game that trumps it is Magic the Gathering, because that is the best game ever made.
Clearly.
Yeah. That's the only thing, like, that is what distracts me from this game. But, like, besides work and playing this game, yeah, like, it's Magic. But it is really, like, it is really, really good. And I can't like say enough, like, how much I think everyone should try it. It's such, like, the city is amazing. It's crazy.
Did you get your refund? Did you get your refund for Xbox?
No, I'm gonna keep it because it's gonna be when they come out with the XS version of it, it's free. Yeah, so I know, like, it's kind of like what is it? Elder Scrolls Skyrim. I played that game like 280 hours, like some ridiculous amount of hours. This game, I'll probably top that. It's just that good to me. It's so, like, the world is so rich. It's crazy to just walk around and, like, meet people in it. It's really
Nice.
fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Super stoked for that game. Yeah, unfortunately, I heard a lot of bugs with PS5 or PS4. I should say, and Xbox One. But
Yeah,
yeah,
the
I've heard
consoles.
nothing but great things from PC, like, for sure. And, like, in the middle of the next gen consoles, so super down for that game. As for myself, the last and final patch of Shadowbringers for Final Fantasy XIV is released, and it's dope. Yeah, it's dope. New raids, new bosses, new trials, stuff from Final Fantasy VII. Emerald Weapon is in it. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff in there. The story is, like, pretty cool. It's the final one until the next expansion. So I just been trying to grind in that. Playing Final Fantasy XIV. Been working quite a bit. And another thing, I don't have the article pulled up, and I wish I should have, but I actually briefed it before we got on and recorded tonight. BioWare is doing a new Mass Effect game.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that, dude.
The Game Awards, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah, dude.
If y'all don't
we'll
know,
see.
if you can't tell, I
It's-
like stars and space and
Yeah, same.
apparently tacos. But no, Mass Effect is one of my most beloved games. I think it's, like, the greatest sci-fi video game that has ever been created.
Fuck yeah.
And I have some apprehensions about Mass Effect 3. But regardless, I love the game. And if BioWare is doing something again, fuck yes, I will give my money to them. And I'm super excited to see what those news can be. But that is our end step. And now I'm going to get something in my ears here, because we're getting close to the end of our episode. If y'all, you're obviously listening in, I'm putting in some ornaments in my ears.
Oh, dude.
There we go.
No.
They're dangling nice and pretty. I got some purples.
Adorable.
Some baby blues. So we're going into our cleanup stage. So this is our social media promo. You can find us exactly at the Mana Ramp on wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube. We are the Mana Dorks. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at the Mana Dorks. You can also follow our individual Instagrams at myself at Michael Butler Bro, BROH, Hoshi at Super Houston, and Drunken Dork at Drunken Dork. Now we're going to do our discard phase, and this is where we finish whatever we've been drinking. But before we cheers, we just want to say, hey, it's holiday times, boys. We're getting close to the end of the year. So for everyone out there, we want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever the fuck you celebrate. We appreciate you. We appreciate everything you've done. Thank you for tuning in. We love you guys. Cheers. and we'll see you next week.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers, boys.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yum yum. She's down it.
Oh, you look like a Christmas transvestite.
I love it though.